You know, in 15-something, when the first Englishman passed this way, he was struck dumb. The tip of Africa driving like a knife into the South Atlantic. He called it the fairest cape in the world. New Age mystics tell me it's a place of great magical power. One of the most important chakra points on the planet. Okay, but for a person like me, this is just home. Until the 60s, most of Cape Town's Muslims lived in the city proper. They spoke Afrikaans, a language they helped create, and many had roots that went back centuries. But when apartheid arrived, they were forced to move to the barren flats outside the city. It's a tough world, too little money, too many drugs, and one of the highest murder rates on the planet. Despite this, the people that live here have real gees.
Hey, julle moenie movies maak van baklei nie, man. This is a place called Q-Town in Athlone. It's in the middle of the Cape Flats, and I'm staying here for the past 30 years. I'm here. Everybody here in Q-Town knows me, knows Butakatsi because of one thing only, because of music.
Haji Davids is one of the great Guma captains of Cape Town. Over the last 30 years or so, he has played for many of the big names that make up the Cape Malay Choir scene. This year, however, Haji and two friends have decided to form their own choir in a quest for the holy grail of Cape Malay culture. A trophy called the Silver Fez. It was an insanely optimistic move, considering the competition they were facing.
Here we are, the 2004 and 2005 Some of these winners, the Cape Malay Choir World Champions, Starlight Second.
People call him Haji Bucks. His real name is Muhammad Zain Benjamin. But he owns several businesses and visits Mecca regularly. So, Haji Bucks it is. Haji Bucks has been organizing Malay choirs since he made his first fortune. His funds are inexhaustible, his domination of the game complete. He calls his team the Starlights, and as far as he's concerned, no one can touch them.
There's a lot that doesn't like me in the competition because of my boastfulness. To me, there's no second prize, only first prize. This game is a costly game, so I just want to win. You know, if there's 100 first prizes, I don't want to accept 98. I want the whole 100.
So there you have it, David versus Goliath, a house painter versus Haji Bucks. Two men in a struggle so far underground that the rest of Cape Town hardly even know it's happening. But for us, the guys in the trenches, it's everything. My name's Mac. I'm a jazz musician, but that doesn't pay the bills, so I do whatever I must to survive. Today, for instance, I'm entertaining tourists who want a real Cape Township experience. Hey, we're just in the middle of something and there comes Michael.
All right.
This is the tour. These people come listen to jazz. Please come inside. Don't hesitate. Michael, don't keep them outside. They look hungry and cold.
Yeah, they must come in.
What's your name?
Nikki, nice to
Nikki.
meet you.
Where you from?
London.
London, I could hear. Mickey, nice to meet you.
Hello, nice to meet you.
You are?
Claudia.
Did I ever meet you before?
No.
Where you from? Where you
I
from?
don't think so. From Brazil.
Ah, Brazil.
Hello.
Sergio, come in. Sit down. I was just telling these oaks about my culture and the brothers I grew up with here on the flats.
I only went as far as standard 5 in school. I can't read music, but I'm a person that can learn something very quickly, especially where music is concerned. But I always knew that I had something in me, man, that I could actually do things in life, man, that can benefit other people too, man. You see, but Ahmad, he plays a major role for me. Yeah, no, me and him, we come along, man. I mean, years now. Talking about 35, 40 years that we've known each other. We fight so now and then, and we get cross for each other, but we can never stay away from each other. We were heavy with the drugs and things like that. I mean, I'm talking straight. We were all in that game, and that was detrimental to both of us. But we all came to realize, I mean, years ago now, I'm talking about nearly 20 years now, this is not the life that we want, man. Fortunately, Dr. Hamad, he's got his family, and he went to Mecca already.
Very emotional trip, very religious trip, holy trip, you know. And this is also a picture I want to show you. This picture was on Mount Arafat, they call it. This is all picture I got of it. Yeah, this is the way I look there. This is my wife. Everybody in white. There where Adam and Eve were forgiven by God.
Dink hy 65 vandag. Kyk eens, hy is nog altyd hier. Weet julle wat ek julle een ding nou sê? I need somebody that I can trust because he's handling the money of the choir. He sees to the Cape Malay Choir board, he goes to their meetings and he must see that everything is in place. Niemand nou hy praat ek van commitment. Hy's 'n team member.
We know exactly what the judges want. You can sing so good, but there's a technique to it. If you sing something that pulls the attention from the judges and the people, then you got a winner. And we know how to do that. We definitely know.
Kachi and Hamad run a business out of Kachi's backyard, hustling painting contracts. If they get lucky and land a big one, they share their good fortune by hiring their friends, especially jobless musicians like Ridwan Dali or Butawani, as we call him.
Butawani is a fantastic guitar player and I always like him to play with me, man. When we play, we got that certain vibe amongst us, man. I mean, I can just look at him and he can look at me and it's like we know exactly where we are, man. When Butawani and me play together, I think there's magic.
I just recently started work just to provide for my family. But for the month that I was at home, I wasn't feeling too well because my wife is the only breadwinner now in the house. Everybody was at home. Well, 100 rand she earned every day. It goes just for food. We can't even cover our debts with that 100 rand. But I just thank God that I just started the job now.
I was 16 when I married Ridwan. I was very shy. I was like scared my mother's gonna scold me out. But I used to love him because he was very gentle, very quiet. It wasn't like a rude boy. And he's dressed. Oh, he could dress to kill. Takachi and Ridwan, they're like brothers. Because Takachi is very concerned also about us. I mean, he's also a person that are not on the level like Haji Bucks is. He knows what we are suffering because he knows that life.
Competent musicians like Kachi, Wani and Khamat are sought out by choirs to improve their chances of winning. Wani, for instance, has been hired by the Starlight since his early 20s.
Every year we're playing for different choirs. We're playing for Starlights, Kachi playing for Violets, and then we play together for another choir. Why? Why doing that?
Other choirs, they just use us, but I know my capable. I know I could start something like this. And I talked to them and I told them, listen guys, why don't we start our very own choir this year? And we made a pledge there, myself, Buta Khamat and Buta Wani, that we are going to start this choir. Die is die brief wat ons gekry het terug van die Cape Malay Choir board. Die brief is Secretary Continental's Malay Choir, Grassy Park. Dear sir, we must have at least 25 guys. 25 guys, according to them, will be a choir. And we must have meetings, and we must have minute books, and we must have a constitution of ourselves. Yours faithfully, President, Mr. April. And that's where the Continental started. Without nothing. All we had was our instruments and hope. Baie van ons weet nie, ons het nie geld nie. Maar nou ons moet try om 'n way en 'n means te maak hoe om geld te maak. Is dit nie so nie? Nou ons het môre aan 'n show aan daar in die Kaap op platform 24, 5 o'clock het ons 'n show en die geld wat ons daar gaan kry gaan hier inkom by die klub. Jy kan nie 'n team ran sonder geld nie. This whole thing, it's costing a lot of money to do something like this. We got 1,500 for this gig. We need at least 100,000 to get us through this year.
Haji Bucks' home is just 5 minutes from Kachi's, but in many ways it's another world, dominated by an extraordinary man. He's rich, he's confident, he's made a big mark on life, and at the age of 74, he's still running as hard as ever.
I am a builder by trade, and I'm retired now, but I run 3 businesses. I got a Benjamin bus service, of course, you know, after my name.
My name is Nadia.
And then I got the Star Dome that houses 1,000 people. And I hired that out for weddings and this and this and that. But it's a lekker name. I always try to work it around the star and say, you know, Starlights, young stars. I always do. If you look at my buses, there's always blue and white stars around the buses. I love blue, you know, and a star. And then I'm the president of the Youngsters Rugby Club, and I'm the main sponsor of the Youngsters.
Yes, wil alles doen. Hy wil skop, hy wil aandoen en maak hy gemos daar. Kry gou ene daar.
I didn't have parent love. I lost my parents both when I was 11 years old. One on the second New Year, the same year, Boxing Day, the other one. And we were 7 children. I didn't go throw myself to the dogs. I had to go sell papers on the streets. I will never forget where I come from. Never ever will I forget that.
What else?
That's why I am today what I am.
What else?
If you got to do something in business, you do business to win. Those who are a profit at the end of the day, they'll close the business. So the philosophy is win at all costs every time, especially in the Cape Malay Choir board.
We were born in the sport. The guys play cricket, they play soccer, they play rugby. This is a seasonal sport. This time of the year, we sing. And Starlights is the team.
1970, I've opened this club. And today is our 37th year. I was in this game before I met my wife. You know, I'm so fond of this man. And I supposed to retire many years ago, but every year I just get that craze, you know, and then I go again.
A year back, Kachi was also employed to play with the Starlights, but Haji Bucks' way of playing the game was bound to clash with Kachi.
The Starlights was in the doldrums, man. It's only when we came to him that first year that he won all those prizes and he actually won the Silver Fest too.
The reason Kachi left me is because I didn't like him to. He asked permission to go play for another club in the same season. I said no.
Being a musician in the Cape Malay Choir board, you are allowed to play for up to 3 different choirs.
I said to him, all right, in that case, I'll pay you more.
And I thought, this can't happen. You can't put your demands on me like that. And I gave his deposit back and I told him, well, if this is the case, if you want me to only play for you and leave my other friends and tell them, no, I can't play for you, I must only play for Haji Bucks. And then I said, no. Then if that's the case, then I don't play for you anymore.
He said, how can I rule his life for him?
His main aim is only about winning. Nothing else matters to him.
And it's a competition. If you know the word competition, competition means to win. One got to outthink the other one. One got to sing better than the other one. And that is what I'm sure. Kachi is not coming there for a second prize.
I don't want my guys, these guys, to see me as that kind of person. I would never ever like to. I want to feel as being one of them, and they must feel that they are one of us. We are a choir, we are a team. I'm not above anybody, and nobody's above me. This is where friendship starts.
Each Malay choir has a core of loyal members. In the case of the Continentals, most of these guys are from Delft.
7 o'clock I drive to Delft, I pick the guys up, I bring them to the clubhouse, and then we practice the Continentals. The family see me just for an hour at that, and on the Sunday they don't see me until 5:30.
In an area known for its high levels of violent crime, drug abuse and unemployment, being in a choir helps build self-respect and keeps you off the streets. Here, a guy like Butawani, though often unemployed himself, is seen as a role model by the youth.
All the guys here from Delft, they respect Ridwan. He's very open with him. If they don't get a father to talk to, they talk to him. At the moment, they practice for a whole week, only Thursday they off. But sometimes I feel I want to be like, I want to have him for 1 year alone, not with the Malay Choir, but I mean that is how they grew up. So I can't take that away from him.
This I do for the love of the sports. My wife sometimes she complains. She's not actually for this type of sports, but see that I love it. That's why she let me do it. And she just warned me, just watch your back at night, because Delft at night is not safe.
Ik is unemployed, maar wat ik hoop dat ik eendag ook dan een vaste werk kan hebben. En ook try om iets in het team te drukken. Om die andere jong mensen te wijzen dat hoe wordt die sport gedaan. Die sport is niet voor samenspel en niks bij gewoon.
I'm unemployed, I'm at home. I like the singing. I enjoy the singing.
My neighbors, they Christian. Then we're about just 2 Muslim families amongst 20 other families.
But here in this game, we respect each other's cultures, religion, and we maintain that music is actually the inspiration for this.
Die geld wat ons maak hier, ons moet werk daarna. Ons maak hier klomp goedes. As dit kom na nuwe jaar toe, maak ons uniforms, ons maak hier die, ons moet sekere mense wat hier miskien werk, hier moet ons try om te jaap. Hoe gaan ons daai mense jaap? Ons moet net een ding weer in mind. Ons is die Continentals en ons moet bou. Né? Nou vanaand is die laaste official practice tot agter die Ramadan. It's a tradition for all the Malay choirs to break for the month of Ramadan. So, just like my forefathers have done for hundreds of years, I don't touch any instrument during the month of Ramadan.
Kachi is a great leader and patriot of Cape Malay traditions. But the odd thing is that actually, the term Cape Malay is a misnomer. Malay was just a language used between the Dutch and Asians in the old days of the spice trade. The Dutch East India Company dominated the whole Indian Ocean. Part of their business was the transporting of slaves, some of whom were brought to work in Cape Town. Asian slaves had many skills, so it was a big thing for a Dutchman to own a so-called Malay. But for the slaves themselves, cuck life, my brother. Slaves were freed in 1834, but their descendants continued to suffer and suckle, especially after the Boere brought apartheid in. Then Mandela came along, but you know what? Not much has changed. These places, for people who live here, life is still heavy, heavy, heavy. You know, my people, the so-called colours of Cape Town, many of us feel like we are lost in the no man's land between Europe and Africa, unsure where we fit in. That's one reason why the choirs are so important. You must understand, the Malay choir is the one place where you are always accepted, no matter who you are or what you've done. If you are broke, if you are lonely, if you're just out of prison, the brothers are there for you. It's like a family, and family ties are powerful things, my friend. How powerful, you only discover when you try to leave. Two weeks into Ramadan, Kachi's contract ran out and Wani found himself jobless again. Things began to get really tight.
If a child comes to you and said, Daddy, I'm hungry, and there's nothing, what must I do? The main thing, I'm the man. I have to work. And if I don't earn the money of working, of sweating, I don't feel like the man.
There are many Butawanis on the Cape Flats with their large families sleeping 4 or 5 in a room. When no one is working, the money runs out quickly and then there's nothing.
Very difficult. I couldn't go to my family and he didn't also like to go to his family because he don't go to his family to us. He rather stay without it.
Kachi help where you could, but you can't every day call a man and just tell him, I need some bucks, or I've got nothing, can you help me? My wife, she gave birth in 23rd of last month for the 7th child in our lives. And for me not working, It's
Haji Bucks, he always brings us some food stuff, sometimes money also. And he walk around the house and he come back and he said, listen here, Ridwan and Taiba, this place is like a big, this yard of yours. I can build a mansion here for you. I mean, we don't have money, we don't have nothing. What do we feel now? Oh my word, this is something good. I think that is also the reason why Ridwan and me decided to go for Starlight. It's not because we wanted to hurt Putakachi, Continentals. It's because Haji was here with it, and because he brought it, it felt like this is something that he gives us to stay with him.
There was quite a few events that happened in that month of Ramadan because there's a whole core group that I had with me. Butawani and his sons, and there's a few others. It just came out of the blue to me that they weren't going to be with my choir anymore, and I was actually very disappointed in that. I thought maybe I did something wrong.
We were 10 guys here from Delft for 6 months to practice, and just to back out like that. He depended on me. I was his right hand. He depended heavily on me.
Haji Bucks, he's a multi-millionaire. I can't compete with him. And apparently he put something on the table for Wani that I couldn't put on the table, and I just heard now all of them is going with the Starlights again.
The Silverfares competition is run a bit like professional soccer. Players are contracted to the various choirs, and if you leave, you have to pay transfer fees and settle outstanding debts.
This is what Haji Bucks does. When Wani comes along and he needs something, Haji will give him. But when it comes time for your clearance certificate, then he will put that in front of you. You give me so many thousand and you will get your clearance certificate. And I'm sure this is what happened now.
Akachi phoned me and he told me, listen, Wani, I've got the bucks to clear you, but the others I can't manage because it's too much. The others is all my sons, it's all my children. No, I don't play the game like that. Where I go, my family go.
You know, I don't think Kazi really understands life. Ridwan's been playing for me for over 20 years.
Most of those members with the Starlights, they will never be able to leave the Starlights. Whatever Bucks tells them to do, if he tells them tomorrow to jump in the fire, I'm sure they must jump in the fire.
This is a sport. This is a competition. This is a tough game. If I engage you, if you ask me for permission, the word permission asking me shows that you contracted to me. Otherwise, you can just go. But you contracted to me, that's why you asked permission. So I don't know how they understand this. I said no.
This is my favorite spot. This area here. Ooh, it's very nice.
Yes, that's
spend hours here. I'll sit in my car and swim, sit in my car, have something to bite and so on. And then I go in again and spend the half a day here. Not the whole day, half a day, yes. See, the tide is coming in.
We were 3 guys trying to invent something here, prove ourselves about our singing and that. But when Wani left, he broke us in half.
Sorry. It's summer in Cape Town, and that means 2 things. Firstly, the snooker running.
Nice big snook today, boss.
And secondly, any day now it will be time for the choirs to start pulling in professional musicians like me to fill out their sound.
70. Nog had ek julle diggie vir 'n 70 rand met kuite in. Geef my 'n hele set kuite my bro man.
Ayawani has deserted, but myself, I'll be playing with Kachi. Inshallah.
You know Ronnie Van Skalkwyk, they used to stay in Bongo Street. And I just found his son. And when I went, his son, yes. I think Doki's about 21 now.
Hey, the kids are committing suicide like it.
No, but I'm sure this is not suicide. I was there
You mean
first.
it's murder?
Nee, my bro, ek dink jy gaan my 'n bitch kuite gee soos ek saam met jou praat.
Snoek het almal dieselfde kuite nie op jou.
Weet jy nie 'n bitch aan nie. Ek kan dit koop by jou.
As I'm going over, this boy says he's got a phone. He's now also walking towards where this boy is now hanging. So he phones the cops and then he says, yeah, good afternoon. I'm just phoning to say that someone's hanging in a tree. And they just say, okay, goodbye, and they put the phone down.
First I give you a fucking mistake.
And now we're standing here, we don't know what to do. And I see his one hand is like blue, but now you can see that he hasn't been hanging there long.
2 answers, my bro. Yeah. Cold, are they cold?
For the Mac, it must be cold.
But we've had children from here going to roads and committing suicide there.
Yes,
No,
just to
it's
get away
this
from
new blooming
everybody.
drugs that the kids are on and took. And they smash up their parents' homes and things like that. It drives them crazy. It's everywhere. And even children in primary school. Eh?
They're 9 years old.
Grade 1, grade 2. My heart goes out to the parents of today.
Hello.
I came to tell you news, man.
What's the news, madam?
You remember the time that me and you were standing there chatting? That guy was hung in a tree.
Right from the beginning, us Capies have had a way of dealing with this kind of situation. We put the pain into song. It's like a way to make things more bearable. It also forms the root of a great Cape music tradition, the comic song.
Okay, let me tell you about the comic. The slaves, when they used to work, okay, they must like adopted this. They made Afrikaans from the Dutch and from that. They made it their own. And all of the comics they did sing is all like a true life experience, man. Like Laas Oom Chakkals, die Bruidegom, that comic. He sings about Oom Chakkals. Oom Chakkals was the boss, the white guy. His slave, his female slave was getting married. And then he went to go make sure that the bride is, you know, in working order for the husband. So, and in the comic it says, Rayom, Booty Rayom, Seva your mama, they call me huis toe nie. You know what I'm saying? And they wrote this. And they sang about it in their own language, whereas the white people couldn't understand what they're saying. And it was funny. That's why it's a comic song.
Laat ek begin. Die mense sê vir my ek is oud, maar ek is nie oud.
What makes a good comic is good tunes, good rhythm, good harmony, and a good story. And I believe it must be a true story, because then you can actually write true emotions in there. All the comics I wrote thus far was what I experienced. Firstly, you get the storyline. Now you get a few songs that people like. Like, the people has to know the tunes, then they will groove with you, because they know the numbers. Lucky's actually a guy that I used to know, and he's a funny old. And I thought, I'm gonna write a comic about you. He's so old that he can't stand too long. But whenever we go out and I see him, he's always clopping on me. He's always with the girls, the young girls. You know what I'm saying? When I started, I was standing in the choir, like it's fun. But then afterwards you realize, hey, some people is getting money. They're getting paid for what they're doing. And then you said, hey, I also need money, like, for studies, man. Or whatever you need your money for. And then you give your price and the people pay your price. Whoever has the most money has the best singers.
You know, I got a coach for each item this year because we are the only team in this position to win the Silverfest 3 times in a row.
Now, second tenors, please.
That's why they don't like him, because he does well in everything.
Where Haji Bucks is concerned, everything is the best. Best musicians, best coaches, best singers money can buy, best organization, best everything. Compared to the Continentals.
Back in Q-Town, things are looking grim. Kachi is still mourning the loss of Butawani. His choir has lost half its members, and there's no money in the kitty. Morale is at its lowest possible ebb.
Ons het klaar niks in die klappie. Nou doen ons 'n functionsie, dan kry ons 'n paar rande. Dan expect die members wat vir my baie disappointing maak, man. Die manne van die team wat weet in die struggle wat ons in is. Dan soek sulke mense nog geld by my wat ek moet vir hulle daar nie iets, daar nie iets, daar nie ietsie. Nou ek vat dit so.
Kachi, you don't want to go any further. You told me, just leave it alone, man.
Maar nou wil sy maar wegbly, want ja, daai nou, hoe is sy dan 'n volgende member van ons? En hoe staan sy dan saam met ons? Ek meen as die skip sink, dan moet ons almal sink. Yeah, I talked to Butakama that way, that I'm thinking of just dropping this whole thing, and he was the one that actually encouraged me to keep on going with the choir. You know, everything I know about this culture of ours, I learned when I was actually a little boy, man. Listening to old men singing these traditional songs. For me, there's something sacred in this culture. And I just felt maybe this is also my destiny. Maybe I can also leave it behind to some other youngsters. And that's what keeps me going.
The mountains and lonely places of Cape Town are dotted with graves, the tombs of early Muslim leaders. The founder of Islam in South Africa, Sheikh Yusuf, was a political prisoner brought here in chains in 1694. It wasn't just the Quran he brought with him. There was also a sound. The mystical sound of the Arabian desert, filtered through the ancient cultures of Java and Sumatra, and then transported to the Cape on slave ships. Here in Cape Town, that sound has been passed down from generation to generation, preserved by 2 unbreakable rules. Thou shalt sing these songs exactly as your ancestors did, and thou shalt not break the chain. songs are called Nederlands liedjes, or Dutch songs. That's because the lyrics are in old-fashioned Dutch, and also because the choir uses harmonies that originate in European folk music. But at the heart of these songs, there's a sound that arrived here on the slave ships. We call it the Carnival. It's the Islamic blues of Cape Town.
The Netherlands plays a big part in this whole setup of the Malay Choir. And you must play your banjo with the Netherlands song. I don't know, I can't describe it, man, but once you're into this Netherlands, it gets to you. I've got a book here that's got over 200 songs. Half of them I don't know, because no records was kept of it. It's only the old people that actually knows these songs. Those songs were written 150, 200 years ago. We're not allowed to change any words. Words that some of us don't even understand. But as you learn it more and more and more, then you come to see that whole story. You know how my forefathers lived before, and how they were slaves, and how they came to enjoy themselves by singing these Netherlands songs. They couldn't talk out, so they sang out.
4 months short of the big day, and Kachi's campaign is still going nowhere. He needs money for musicians, for uniforms, for transport. The list is endless. But Kachi is a resourceful outie. He went to see a rich businessman who sometimes throws work his way. And guess who showed up to our next rehearsal?
My name is Ami Dolly. I'm actually a building contractor. And this is what we do here. It's an outer house, and we're putting all these apartments together in a frail care. Tachi, he's my painter contractor on the side.
That's your wages, man. Right? That's you alright? Yeah, so this is my crew. And most of them is with the team too. So they all working now. They all painters now. They're working now for me.
Kachi and Mr. Dolly have known each other for years, but their relationship is about to change. Mr. Dolly has agreed to become the Continental's chairman. He's also agreed to finance the team, a move that will cost him a fortune in coming months.
We grew up with the Malay choirs, and we don't get nothing back when we just do it for the love of the game.
I had my doubt, especially when Wani and them pulled out. And there was one stage that I told Muhammad, listen, we're just going to be going out New Year's Eve, but I'm going to withdraw the team from the competitions. You see, because of all the expense that we must still make, and we hardly had any men. But if you come to our clubhouse now, and you see the difference that it's actually people coming from all over to come and join us now, so I don't even miss those guys anymore. Ons kan nooit oorgee. There's no such thing like quitting, man. Quitting is not part of my vocabulary.
With Mr. Dolly in the picture, it's suddenly possible for Kachi to do something he's always dreamed of. To put the team of hundreds of uniformed revelers on the street for Cape Town's epic New Year's Carnival.
Ons gaan 300 tricks opmaak. 200 groot mense en 100 kinders. American colors.
I don't think I'm going to have sleep tonight, because every 5 minutes people is coming for uniforms, and there's hardly any more uniforms. My wife is still making a few last ones now. Yay! Goed zak! Ja, ik heb gewiet mijn tijd gaat komen. Kijk morgen hoe groot is die team. Allah! Gaat wakker schrik, Allah! Gaat wakker schrik, Allah! So Ami gave me a check of 20 grand. He just brings people to me and he tells them, Kaatse, give that one a tracksuit, give that one. And yesterday he phoned me, all that lighties that can't afford it in Delft, man. The way they were happy to be going with the choir tomorrow. The way their faces were. I felt so good when I handed the tracksuits to them. These guys will be dancing for us while we parade. As the brass band is playing, they're going to perform for us and do their thingies and stuff. Just to make the whole thing more lively, you know what I mean?
They haven't got money to buy the tracksuit. They are kids, they don't work yet. They are all youngsters that are still in school.
I think I should tell you that this New Year's Eve fandango has nothing to do with the Silverface competition. It's just a jaw, a huge one.
To be with Starlights, it's fine. Everything's in place. Everything's jolly. It's New Year's Eve, we're happy. But in actual fact, they like today. My mind is at my body's.
We've got members from all over. We've got family and stays in places like in Menenberg and in Mitchell's Plain. And people are always looking out for the choir, especially on a New Year's Eve. Delft, as we all know, it's an area where there's a lot of poverty and people are finding it very difficult. From Delft, we went to Belgravia, where sort of rich people stay.
From 1969, every year, I have a table here. We work hard, I tell you, whole year. And then this is our pleasure that we get out of the year. Without us, we don't go into the new year liquor. Now we can take a year on a long year again.
We were entertained by Mr. Dolly's wife. We were nearly 500 of us. But everybody had some food there and everybody went away from there. Their stomachs were full and some of them even had some food to take with them as well.
According to legend, this festival dates back to 1834, when people took to the streets to celebrate the end of slavery. Every New Year's Eve, we are on the streets again. They call us the Nachtroepen, armies of the night.
This is where we parade in the mother city. This is what we're looking forward to the whole year. And now is the time to enjoy ourselves. New Year's Eve going out and parading was fine, but when it comes to the real enjoyment for us, it doesn't compare with us going onto the stage where the actual competition is. There's no comparisons.
In the new year, the struggle for the Silverface begins in earnest. For months, the Continentals have been rehearsing without a real Netherlands singer. But then one night this guy walks in and tells Kachi his sons are the stars we are looking for. And that's how we got to know the twins, Mahmoud and Mustafa.
I came out of a strong Netherlands family because one uncle, his name was, we used to call him Brucey. But I mean, that guy could sing Netherlands. He really could sing. He was a top Netherlands singer in Cape Town. You can't get, even today, you'll find it difficult to get better Netherlands singer than that guy. Now, that was the uncle.
Ons sing van 7 jaar oud, toe ken ons nog nie eens die woorde nie. Toe sukkel ons, so ons toe hier competition gaan doen. So dus gesê, so gaat ons opwek en so gaat ons opwek tot ons by 'n team kom. Ons was ook belangstel op ons skoolwerk, maar ons nie so evident op ons Nederlands, want dat is die beste kanse wat ek kry.
They come straight to my room. Sometimes I have to lock my door just to keep them out.
Ja, gepreektes is baie belangrik. Ons preektes tot die next oggend sit ons hier en dinge regmaak.
Sometimes we don't go sleep past one. We still awake listening to them practicing now. They come and sing and perform with us in the room. And then we must sit right up in bed and watch them. They never won the first one. But hopefully now, this year, I'm hoping for them to win.
والعين تجامد وفراتي ألا يسبق بدامي. Ons het 3 jaar opgesign by die kaartjie. Nou, hy moes 3 jaar sing. As hy miskien siek is, dan sing ek weer.
I would say the two brothers, it doesn't matter to them which one is going to be singing. It can be the one or it can be the other. They've got no animosity towards each other when singing. I think the way I see it, the one brother actually feels proud when he sees his other brothers going on.
Ons net soms hier aan baklei ons so na mekaar. Ja, ons lief op mekaar, maar kyk hier. Ons is lief op mekaar. Ja.
You know, the Mercedes-Benz, it was in one of your jobs. The client didn't have enough money, and they gave us the car in the place of that. And then Kachi told me I can use the Merc for a couple of weeks and so on. I did feel like a Lani, and I did feel very important when I drove the Merc. Because, as you know, we start from scratch. Here I'm driving my Merc. I really feel like one of the executive of the choir.
Squad! Attention! Riot! Left turn!
Confused? Well, I don't blame you. This competition is something else, man. Apart from singing, you get points for dressing sharp, and then you hire a drill instructor and get points for precision marching.
This is the beauty of this whole thing, that we learn and we're together all the time and we do different things together, not only singing. Today is actually a competition on its own. It's just marching and the best dress will be judged.
Julle is reg so kyk voor julle en 'n smile op julle gesig is dress. No?
We checking the coordination, the makeup, the styling. Look at the shoes, everything, the socks, the belts, everything.
You know, people are funny. They can't visualize. And I'm gifted in visualizing something. I'm very gifted in it. I don't know, it takes them years to catch on what I'm doing. Originally, it was just a plain, nice suit, gray, brown, blue, navy blue, whatever. But then one of the clubs, they came with this colorful things, and I looked at this, but I wasn't interested. But we keep on losing, you know, and I said, no, you want to play the game rough? I'm going to play the game rough. Then I did exactly what they did, but I just went one step better than them, and now they are crying all over me.
spend a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of energy. Yes, the wives are behind the husbands with all the late coming ins and things like that.
We are the club that won the most first prize business. I'm now in a position of winning a hat-trick again now. In this sport, there's only one Haji Bucks. They must come and win this. They must win Haji Bucks here. Look at that match. Look at that match. Now this is next year's suit. This. Peach shoes, everything peach.
Then the friends come around and talk about the trophies and the prize giving and things like that. Who's happy and who's not happy, you know? Who was like Rob and who was not Rob, things like that. All the fun.
This sport ends on the 25th of March. It begins next year, February. So if I'm successful, I can boast the whole year. The whole year I can boast. Isn't that lovely?
We are the champions. And we are going to be the champions this year.
The Starlight squad is so disciplined that even if they have a bit of an off night in the singing competition, their marching could well pull them through.
The guys, as you can see, their spirit is high. They are here, they're very determined. They have been practicing for 2 months for this day. If they fancy us, well, we will definitely win the Silver Fest.
We look at discipline, and then we look at uniformity, and we make sure that the guys that are in charge of the squad have control over the squad.
You know, marching, it's not one of our strongest points, man. But we were a depleted team, only 18, the bare minimum turned up to do the grand. And we had to take all these people to some of them, they can't even walk properly.
1, 2, 1, 3, 1.
Tawanis was working cleaning buses now for Haji Bucks. You know what? I feel sorry for that guy, man. I was cross with him at that time, but as time goes by, he is my friend, man. Where I can help him still in the future, I will do so, man. I mean, that thing that happened, I don't entirely blame him. The person who's really to be blamed there is actually Haji Bucks. He's the guy.
It was difficult for Ridwan. I think he had a lot of stress, and because he's not a person that talks out, he keeps everything to himself. If anything happens, he'll try to keep it and like he don't like talking it out. The same time he was with Starlights, he also wanted to be with Continentals. He didn't know which one to choose, and plus his family situation, so he had everything on his shoulder.
Maybe it would have happened anyway. Or maybe it's a measure of the passion people invest in this sport. All we know for sure is that a while later, Wani had a stroke. He was about to learn who his real friends were.
My whole face was skew. I couldn't drink a little water, nothing. When I drink the water fell out on the side. I can take a needle and I can put it through here. This whole pot was dead.
You know, me and Butawani, we had our ups and downs. But when I heard he was sick, man, I thought maybe I should swallow my pride, man, and go and visit this guy, man. And that I did. When I walked into his house and I saw him lying on that bed, and he was actually very sick, and I could see if I don't do something, this guy could die. And I immediately got my driver to drive me back home again and got some money and told this driver to just go back put Batawan in a van and take him to a hospital or to a doctor for him to get well again, man, because after all, he is my brother, man.
You know, when something like this happens, when I almost died, nothing counts. It's only your family and your friends and the people who love you. After my relapse, I never saw Haji after that. Kachi was the one who came here to give. So I told him we will be back, the whole crew of 17, 18. What Haji Bucks lose, he will realize it, because I don't think he's going to win that silver fish. We're going to show him something.
When I walk in, I was a little bit, who's looking at me with a long face, but actually it didn't happen. They all were happy to see us. I'm back at my choir where I'm supposed to be. You understand? Because it was me, Mtahamad, and Mtakachi. We were the three who started the choir.
When Wani came back, I could see in Kachi's face, because I know him, that it really made him happy. As we go along, I can feel it too, that there is something different in the choir.
Maybe it's my imagination, but I think this choir is finally going somewhere. It's partly because Juan is back, but it's also Mr. Dolly. With him behind us, we're in a position where we can give Haji Bucks a real go. All of a sudden there were strings, massed guitars. Only the richest choirs can afford this stuff. Today I'm thinking, maybe this isn't a dream. Maybe we can really do it.
You know, the last week before the competition, it's a hectic time for me, because I had to see to the uniform, I had to see to the bus, I had to see that the tickets is paid in. I'm in a yellow stress. Good morning everybody. How you doing? I'm well. So the fabric came here last week and Wednesday. Now you can imagine, it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. In 8 days, they have worked night and day. They have worked so hard that this man can't put a pinch on his body. He's just eat and work and eat and sleep and work, and it goes on like that. He doesn't show me the stress he's got in him, but I know he's stressing, because I'm stressing. This is my big worry, is the uniform. It's gonna be tough, so it's hard work this week to get us there. If we want to hit hard, we had to put our tone right, our pronouncing of the words and things like that. That is very important.
Als hij comfortable is met I, los het I.
You know, all the men in the choir love the twins because they are such sweet guys, but they're not very experienced, so Kachi thought they could do with a little help. Ashraf Muhammad is one of Haji Bucks' second string needle dance singers. Kachi hired him to give the twins some advice, and that's where the wheels started coming off.
Moet nooit snip laten je elkaar horen niet. Als je er wil snipbrief, als een lied zingen, snip, skelm. Daar wat niemand je hoort, zeg, hou asem. Vraag wat die muskanten, allemaal die muskanten zou je kan zien. Dat kan.
With all the money around, Kachi could play the game like Haji Bucks, buying whatever and whomever he needed. Now don't get me wrong, having ready money in this game is a good thing, but it's just the way things started happening seemed against the spirit in which the Continentals was founded. We were told Ashraf was just coming to coach, but as the rehearsal progressed, I could see Kachi's mind moving in another direction. And sure enough, next thing he was plotting to buy Ashraf out of his contract with Haji Bucks so he could sing for us.
I just started working. Now, you bailed me out last year. You bailed me out last year while I was working.
Oh, I see. But now, do you know he's going to give it?
He must give
He hasn't got a choice. Like, pay me has to.
Yes, he must give it.
With only a week remaining, this was a very risky move, but Kachi seemed confident he could pull it off.
The president will allow a late registration for him because I asked him how many time we got left to register him. He said, hey, first get the matter in order. He will allow that.
No, Ashraf is a good singer. And I've told them that. I have told them that. Take him.
Die het nie van my afgekom nie. As hy vir die mense gaan sê dit, dan gaan ek dit deny, ek het vir jou so iets gesê. Wie sê wat sê Bucks vir my nou die dag?
I thought Haji Bucks would move heaven and earth to block us. Instead, he was oddly encouraging.
He will win the first prize for you. I've told you, ask Kachi, you ask Dolly, ask them. I've told them, you don't make a mistake.
Hy sê vir my, en as hy klonk vir julle Sarah gaan sing, dan gaan hy vir julle wen.
Maybe Haji Bucks wanted Ashraf's transfer fee, which rose in value with each passing day. Or maybe he knew something about Ashraf Muhammad. He wasn't telling us. We got our new shoes tonight. Mine didn't fit right. But that wasn't the only thing that made me uncomfortable. I knew the twins' hearts were about to get broken.
Daar het ons op Ashraf ook saam gekry saam met ons. Hy gaan Sarah gaan vir ons sing. Kom, whatever gaat hy vir ons sing. Ons het vanmiddag uitgespring. Ons het sy dinge gaan stryd maak. Soveel is sy dinge met Ashraf. Sy dinge is reg. Hy gaan vir ons sing. Soos die tweelinge, julle is daar, julle saam in die team, julle is die future van die Continentals. Julle gaan nog vir die team baie eendag first prize. Julle is nou saam met die regte man.
It was Kachi's call, and he's the man with the dream. But myself, I don't know. At times I feel like I'm in the army or something.
Die ons attitude wat ons het towards die game. Julle moet die kinders sien man. Wat moet julle nenga om hier te kom staan? Here, julle kan nie alles op 'n fucking skingboot, maar dan moet ons nog julle gatte lek om hier te kom staan.
This isn't the Kachi I know. He's even starting to sound like Haji Bucks. It's win, win, win. It's destroying the spirit in the choir, and people are getting hurt in the process.
En sy wat voel om te sê, hy offend van jou, sy's welkom om môre aan weg te bly.
It's a very different thing this year for me because I will be singing. I will be singing with the choir this year. I'm not playing. And it's I don't know how I'm going to take it because I've been on this stage with a guitar in my hand for the last 30 years and he thinks that I'm more valuable to him in the pack to sing.
He's very lazy to practice. Tahamat is somebody that he will leave his guitar standing there and catching dust for 11 months of the year. Then on the 12th month, he will take his guitar out.
I mean, I'm playing for more than 20 years or maybe more with him on the stage. I've been playing longer than Wani with him. All my life, I've been playing. And I don't know.
I'm sort of punishing him this year. Next year you must take your guitar out and you practice and then you're going to play with me again.
You know, I had an argument with him over there. And he said, bottom line, you're not going to play. I'd rather hire another guitarist, but you must stay in the back. I don't ask him to play anymore. I don't ask him if I must play, because he just ignores me.
Hallo, Asraf, waar is jy? O, staan ze mij buitenkant, ons wacht voor jou hier zo. Nee? Oké, alright, safe. He's on his way.
Ons het die hele jaar gesacrifice. En ons het die geweet, hij gaat voor zo'n 3 druk in allemaal niet. En dan komt ons privaat die game van start tot het einde, wat is het eren staat.
Ja.
This chap, he just come for the last minute and he wants to be on stage with them. I mean, it's not fair. They're practicing the whole year, and when they think they are going to be the national singer for Haji, and then it's not so, and for the team.
500 rand, koppel.
Nee?
Ja.
Aman?
En, ja.
Yeah, this guy is now really taking long, man, his time, man.
Good afternoon. Hi, Dave.
Sometimes heb ik voor mezelf gezegd, ik los zomaar niet die sport. Ik praat aan mijn maal ook. Het is mijn laatste jaar samen met het team. Van hoe kom ik zat voor mijn benefit. En even wat ik haar inzet, kan ik gaan van mijn moslim religion.
But anyway, only the strong will survive.
Yeah, only the strong will survive. Okay, Pia.
You know, Asraf, you got to know how to handle him. If you leave him and let he do what he want to do, it's not going to work.
Kijk eens aan, Nori. Die eerste ding wat hij van mij gezegd heeft, was about de 5. Nee? Toen kwam het weer als een 10. Nee? Toen kwam Haji Bucks nou weer op, maar hij ander goed is nou van wie geloof hij. Verstaan ze wat ik bedoel? Ik vond hem nou, hij zei voor mij is on his way. I mean, hoe lang zit ons nou al hier voor hem zitten wachten? I'm wasting my time, man.
Ik kom en gaan. Kijk, zoals de dag wat we de rehearsal doen, toen was ik niet zo opzet. En nu kom hulle betaal van 15.000 rand. En die man, hij komt 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock hier aan. En die mannen, die hele tijd moest om gewacht. Hij disappoint me baie en amper soos hy vat vir die kaartjie vir 'n aapie. Ja, sê so vir 'n aapie, ja.
That was another thing, the making of the blazers. You know, making 60 blazers, it's money. The guy we approached, he wanted about 200 rand each, just to cut it and sew it. Donovan, he came lower than that. And I told Kachi, let's go for it. But we didn't know it's going to be a mess up like that, because he was very convincing. He had made us a sample and Kachi tried the jacket on, but when the bulk was finished...
Die baadje lijkt erger als mijn tanden. Het blijft maar niet hoe lief als ik voor het team. Ik kijk voorbij die baadje. Elke member in die team maakt hier 10 points voor love. En als je zo'n baadje kan dragen voor het team, dat is liefde. Nou, dat is echt geliefd, dat is liefde. Kijk, baadje.
Asraf, waar is hy nou? Oké. Waar is hy? Hy is nog in die Kensington, man. Herre, hy weet mos, kom ek nog, kom. Pas op.
The chickens had come home to roost, and the whole team knew it. It would take something special to lift our morale before going into competition tomorrow. And this could only come from one person, Kachi.
Hey, you know, I don't know, I don't know, somewhere along the line, I don't know what I did wrong, man. But I think I must have, somewhere along the line, I did something like that, man. At this point in time, the most important thing for me is just to keep us all together. Some choirs, it took 50 years. Some choirs, they in the board, how many years? They've never won the fest yet. So yeah, I'm actually starting a new choir and I want to win the fest now. And I don't think that, it doesn't look like it's going to happen that way. The most important thing for us is love, man. Our love for each other and our love for the sports that we're in. I think that is more important than anything else. There's only two thank yous that we want to, special thank yous that we want to say. First of all, to Mr. Dolly for helping us with our choir through thick and thin. Right? And the next special thank you goes to Buta Hamad, man, for all his hard work that he's put into the choir, man. Thank you. Kijk, as ek geskree het vir julle, man, ek is sorry dat ek vir julle geskree het, want ek wil net die beste uit julle uit, man. Weet jy, ons gaat daar en ons gaat trofies kry, weet jy, ons gaat niks so kry nie. Ek wil hê, ons moet nog altyd dieselfde bly. Just let us go tomorrow, do our best. If that isn't good enough, then so be it. That's most, but we're not gonna die without a fight, eh? Hey, we're not gonna just lie down and say, hey, it's all right. You know the adrenaline that you get by standing in that pack, you forget everything around you. It's just like you're in some sort of a trance, man. That, you know, even on that stage, your sweat is running down, your shirt is wet, your suit is wet, everything is wet. My mind is so focused that I'm taken away. And I'm sure the other guys too, they get that feeling and it's just for love.
The Continentals right now. The Continental are the far way to go still. You know, they like we started to crawl and then we started to walk and then we run and this will be the determination. But the Continentals, before they want to win me, I think they must win somebody else before they want to win me and then come on to me. So tonight will be the night that we will go and win the Soberfest for the third time, and then they must beware for the 4th year after that.
Feeling confident?
Always. I'm always here to kick some ass.
For months, the crew making this film negotiated with the Cape Malay Choir Board to shoot the competition, but to no avail. In fact, the money made from all media of the event is so tightly controlled that not even the families of those taking part are allowed into the hall with cameras to take pictures of their sons, brothers and fathers on the proudest day of their year.
They refuse you to shoot here. They said it's a good up centers area.
Apparently, according to the board, you never got permission to do a video. So
Yeah, but this is outside
it's still on the perimeter of the grip center.
We go outside, then we shoot, man. No?
I don't want to get you guys into trouble.
No, we go outside. For what? Nou, ons poko wat van hulle corona af, man. Ons gaat uit, ons is niet worry op hulle nie, Jatsi. Wie is worry van koppe?
I don't want to make shit.
No, we go outside, man. That's fine. As we walk in, we can. That's another thing for your document. Go on, go on.
So how's this, eh? After all the effort, all the blood, sweat and tears, we wind up singing on the streets under threat of disqualification. But you know what? It was a great moment. We were as tight as a fist and as sweet as honey. Such a pity there was no one to hear us.
There should be a bad hope center, man, not a good hope center.
For the record, they allowed us to participate, but it was a disaster. As the newest choir, we had to perform first and the sound system wasn't set up right. Singers couldn't hear the instruments, so we were all out of tune. The judges were not impressed. As for Haji Bucks, he got his hat-trick, winning the Silver Fez for the 3rd year in succession and breaking all records in the process.
We're the best in the world.
We all different kinds of people. We meet only this time. And when we play this music, it's just like a bird flying into the sky. You understand? And just that moment, the music takes you away.